Hi everyone, and I thought I'd do today is go through some hands that I played in a team match last night. Um, I was playing with my brother Alex, and we play a short club with transfer responses, and our opponents were an Italian pair, and they were playing Neapolitan Club. This is a strong club system, so one club shows 17 or more points. Their other opening bids are limited. And the one feature of Neapolitan Club is they don't always open their longest suit, a method known as canapé. So you always have to be slightly aware that if they've opened a four card major, they may well have a longer minor or a longer major, indeed. So let's go through six of the hands, and we're going to start with the very first hand. And they opened one spade to show four or more spades with 11 to 16 points. And my partner passed. And the next hand bid two clubs. I think this is game forcing. And however, it could be an artificial raise of spades in particular. And normally, with just 10 points and opponents in a game forcing auction, I'd be well out of the way. I'd be passing without a lot of thought. But on this hand, we can see that I've got five good diamonds, and it's the suit that I'd really like partner to lead. So I think it's worth considering bidding two diamonds, and in fact, that's what I did. Now, if I had more diamonds, I might well preempt to a higher level. So if I had six, I'd be thinking about bidding three diamonds. It's not impossible to do that with just five at this vulnerability, but I do have an awful lot of losers, and I don't want to encourage my partner to sacrifice without real diamond support. So I think two diamonds is the prudent action here. North bid two spades, confirmed at least a five card suit. And now my brother bid four diamonds, which is a preempt. Uh, So we've taken away a reasonable amount of space, although South knows a fair amount about the hand, and he bid four spades now. I wasn't interested in sacrificing. If my brother had been able to show clubs and diamonds, so that we had a double fit, then I would be more interested. But other than that, I really just showed my hand, and this got passed out. So Alex led his top diamond, and Declarer soon made the obvious 11 tricks, well, at least obvious when you can see all the hands there. So as you can see, I could have been stronger for my two diamonds, but with a good suit that I wanted led, there wasn't a lot of danger of being doubled at the two level. South hasn't really shown his hand at all with two clubs. He could have a variety of hands, so it's going to be difficult for them to double me. And even if they do double me, my trump suit's so good that they'll be loath to leave it in when they might have a game available. So let's move on to actually the second hand that we played. And I have a nicer hand this time. And it got better when my brother opened with one club. So we play a short club. Um, he may have five diamonds if he has a balanced hand, um, but my first thing is to show my spades. So we play transfer responses. So my actual response is one heart, which just shows four or more spades. North passed this. Alex now rebid two diamonds. So two diamonds is a two-way bid for us. It either shows a reverse or It shows a hand with very, very strong clubs. Certainly too strong to rebid 3 clubs. Now, looking at my hand, I have 2 options now. I could ask him, what has he got? Does he have a natural reverse, or does he have really good clubs? But with my spades looking so solid, I mean, they'll have some play opposite a void. We might need a 4-3 spade split in that case. But opposite a singleton, it's looking really good to play in spades. So one thing when you're bidding with your partner, make a forcing bid if you make the lowest forcing bid you can if you don't know where you're going. So I could bid 2 spades here, which would be natural and gain forcing. But what I chose to do was to bid 3 spades because I really know what I want to do, and that's play in spades. And I want to hear either a cue bid or some noise from my partner to suggest where we're going next. If he bids 3 no trumps, which would be typical without any kind of spade fit, then I can move forward with 4 clubs and hope to resolve things later. What actually happened is that Alex bid 4 spades, which probably means he doesn't have a spade void, or if he does, he won't have anything approaching a heart stop. But he's declined to to bid 4 clubs, which would be the normal bid with really strong clubs or with the diamond club reverse. Things do get a little murky in those sorts of auctions, but I think as I have second round control of hearts and diamonds, it's just a case of me now asking how many key cards he has, so that because I know he's got a strong hand. And Alex showed 2 key cards without the Queen of Spades, and that'll enable me just to jump to 6 spades. So North led the Ace of Hearts, and as we can see, I mean, Alex has a really nice hand, but I think maybe the key point is his raise of 3 spades to 4 spades. He's already shown a good hand, so he doesn't need to worry about me worrying about slam at all. And his singleton heart isn't particularly useful if we're missing the ace of spades, for example, if I have long, strong spades. Or, I mean, I'm not going to be able to draw trumps and rough hearts. So I think 4 spades is the right bid here. It means we're not going to get too high, and it clears up the auction at all. Thing. So I played this carefully. What I got was a heart continuation, forcing dummy to rough. Oh no, it didn't force dummy to rough at all. So this is where I was careful, in that I roughed in my hand and then led a spade to the 10 in case spades broke 5-1. And when I returned with a diamond to my hand, I could draw the remaining tricks. I think the key thing on this hand is how we handled it fairly nicely, making the decision to really show my spades with 3 spades made the auction a lot easier for the 2 of us, and there was no messing about with what were trumps. The board was almost flat. They played in 6 diamonds at the other table, but bidding slam was a relatively easy thing to do. So we've been training our juniors over the last few weeks about some of the methods they will face at the European Championships. And one of the conventions they'll face, played by a lot of juniors, is a bid showing a weak major 2-suiter. Now we do play one of those, and this hand I held on board 12 is an absolute maximum at this vulnerability for using it. I'm very close to opening one spade with such powerful 5-5 distribution with all of my points in my long suits. But I decided I am allowed to be maximum occasionally. So our bid shows 3 to 9 points with at least 9 cards in the majors. Some of the juniors, of course, allow you to be 4-4. And the key to bidding over these things is just to keep it sensible and not panic. North responded 3 diamonds. Alex bid 4 spades, which he would bid on a variety of hands. He could be looking to sacrifice. He could be bidding it to make. My hand is limited, so I don't need to know which it is. He'll often have 5 spades for this because I've only guaranteed 4 with my opening bid. South thought for a long time and bid 5 clubs. And I really wanted to bid 5 spades here. Well, half of me wanted to bid 5 spades because I've got an extra spade. And so it looks like as a sacrifice, 5 spades is probably a good idea. But the downside is I'm a bit good because I have this ace of hearts, and if partner has a singleton heart, I'll be able to give him a ruff, and we might have another trick. He might have the ace of spades and a trump trick. And we've also taken away all of the bidding space for our opponents. They've each only made 1 bid, and they're at the 5 level. They have no idea whether they can make 5 clubs, 5 diamonds, or a minor suit slam. So I decided to pass, and the hand got passed out. And it transpired that our opponents had done very well. They'd bid to the right place and had 5 clubs was making, 5 diamonds was making. There was no ruff for us. And actually we'd missed a good save of 5 spades. Is only 2 down doubled, which would have been minus 300. And we lost 7 imps on this deal, where our opponents did find the save. I think this goes to show that these conventions are good, but they can also be difficult to handle. On this hand, I'd open maximum, and Alex had preempted, but he didn't have the confidence or safety to go to 5 spades. I might have only had a 4-card suit, and he's got loads of losers. But also, we'd made them have the guess. They really didn't know whether they were making 5, what they were making. And if we bid 5 spades and sacrifice, then we could easily be sacrificing when they bid too high or got into the wrong contract. So these conventions can help. They can also make things difficult. And in this case, it cost us 7 imps. So on the very next hand, as it happened, we got those imps back. So this time I've got a really nice hand. And it was no surprise after 2 passes that my right-hand opponent opened with 2 hearts. And maybe the surprise was he didn't open more. But I mean, I've got 20 points, good spade suit, but clearly I'm too strong to do anything other than double initially. And that went past. Now, after a week 2 and a double, most expert players play a convention known as Lebenssoul or some variant of that to allow you to distinguish between good hands and bad hands. I mean, a weak hand with 4-card spade support can bid 2 spades, but can you differentiate between a weak hand with diamonds or a strong hand with diamonds? So we play a convention known as Lebenssoul, which would allow weak hands to bid at this point. So when Alex bid 3 diamonds, I knew he had some values, typically sort of 8 to 10 points. It's not a forcing bid, and if I've doubled with a minimum hand, then I would normally pass it. But obviously I've got more than a minimum hand, And the key here is to make as descriptive a bid as they can within the forcing framework. And here I think it is clear that 3 spades is the right bid. It shows I've got 5 spades. It doesn't imply anything about a heart stop, but it allows my partner then to judge what to do. It is forcing because a new suit after his constructive raise must be forcing. It would be if he'd have responded to no trumps Lebenssoul to show weak hands, then I would be in a much more difficult position about how to bid on. But on this hand, Alex bid 3 no trumps, and I mean, it really helps that Alex is a passed hand here, so I'm not really thinking about slam. It is my King of Hearts looks really good card for helping in 3 no trumps, but both my minors are weakish, so I didn't think for very long before passing 3 no trumps. And we got a heart lead, and Alex made 2 over tricks fairly comfortably. One interesting thing that Alex did in the play was he crossed the Queen of Clubs to lead up to the King, Queen, Jack of Spades in case South had a singleton ace. Otherwise, you could end up losing a second spade trick if they were 5-1. But I think they missed this game in the other room, and that was because they did bid 2 no trumps over the week 2. And we weren't quite able to get across their values to the same extent. I think bidding 3 diamonds when you have such a good heart stop is a good strategy. Alex is sub minimum for the hand, but his heart suit with ace 10 to 4 really encourages you to overbid a little bit. So the next hand, again, a really nice hand. North opened 1 diamond, which shows at least 3 diamonds and 11 to 16 points. And Alex doubled for takeout. And now I've got a really good hand. I've got support, excellent support for both majors. And if he's got a good takeout double, then we could even have a slam. The only fly in the ointment is 3 small diamonds is not really a good holding. So we'll have to see how that goes. But the first thing to do with this is to create a force. And like a lot of people, we play that a cubid, 2 diamonds in this case, is forcing to suit agreement. So that means if Alex makes a simple bid, which is in fact what happened, so he responded 2 hearts, so that shows at least 4 hearts, but is forcing for at least 1 round. The weakest bid I can make now is to raise it to 3 hearts, which wouldn't be forcing. So I now know that we've got a good heart fit, and what I want to do is find out more about Alex's hand. And the nice thing is I can do that easily by making a forcing 2 spade bid, and then he'll tell me a bit more about his hand. And in this case, he responded by raising it to 3 spades. So with his 3 spade bid, this isn't forcing because we've now shown suit agreement. So I know he has a minimum takeout double that isn't interested in game opposite a minimum 2 diamonds. So my thoughts about bidding a slam have really dissipated at this point. I mean, I am quite good, but he's obviously doubled. He must have 4-4 in the majors because I've only shown 4 spades, so he must have 4 spades. And we doubled quite aggressively when we were 4-4 in the majors to try and get into the auction. So I signed off. I thought for a while about whether it was worth trying to play in the heart contract, but decided at the end it was safer in the 5 forfeit. And they led the king of diamonds, and you can see that this is we're at the right level. We've got 2 diamond losers, and we may lose a heart if they're 4-1 offside. They weren't, so we just lost the 2 diamonds for 11 tricks. But again, the thing on that hand was the control that we had during the auction. I wasn't trying to jump to game too early. I was able to bid slowly with forcing bids and find our better fit. There was no need to jump and make premature decisions. If Alex had been a lot stronger, then we may well have bid a slam if he had a diamond control. So the final hand is just to show the kind of things that can happen when you're facing a short club. So 3 passes to Alex, and he opened a short club. South passed. I bid a diamond to show 4+ hearts. And Alex now completed the transfer to show so that shows 11 to 14 balanced with 2 or 3 hearts. Essentially, he's got a weak no trump. So opposite that, if you look at my hand, if partner opened a weak no trump, you just transfer to hearts and pass. Well, I've transferred to hearts a level lower than a weak no trump. So here I can pass because it just even if he's got 2 hearts with a balanced hand opposite, it just looks best to play in hearts. They can compete if they want, but at least Alex will know I'm a weak hand and I've got 5 hearts, so he can compete further if necessary. It'll also be very difficult for them to compete when we've shown we've got points and they've passed throughout. And that's indeed what happened. Alex played in 1 heart. They found the best lead, but Alex played it well to make 10 tricks when they never led trumps at any point, which is obviously difficult with their trump holdings. Alex won the spade, cashed the king of clubs, came back to the diamond, threw a spade on the ace of clubs, and then led a diamond and was able to ruff the 2 diamonds in my hand and make the 10 tricks, losing a spade, a diamond, and 1 heart when they fell nicely. So that worked well, and we gained a couple of imps. I hope that's been interesting, just see how some of the things that we did and how we coped with some of the conventions that people were playing. Thanks very much. See you next time.